In our previous lesson, we took a look at the fundamentals of blockchain. In this case, we're going to extend that example to replace the data field with financial transactions. You can see here the TX, which stands for transaction, and you can see that we have 5 transactions listed. In the first line, we have $25 going from Darcy to Bingley. In the second one, we have $4.27 going from Elizabeth to Jane, and so on. If we go down the line, we can see that on block 2, we have 7 transactions. On block 3, we have 3. It doesn't really matter how many you have, all the way until the end. Now, here's something important to note, that this is where the immutability, the resistance to change of the blockchain is important. If we were to modify any field here, let's say we made that 62A2, you can see that that block is now invalid. This is something that the network could detect, and that it is important for us to have that property. So for financial systems where we want to make sure that the data is one that is reliable, this is a great property. Now, one thing that is missing on here, though, is we're noting the exchanges, but we're not verifying that the funds exist. So in other words, the funds that are sent from Darcy to Bingley here in this first line, we do not know if Darcy has in fact enough money to be able to make that transaction. So for that, we need a Coinbase. So we're going to extend our example further. And as you can see here, I have a number of blocks. And now we have an additional line of data here. You can see here a Coinbase. And in this first block, Abel is receiving $100. On the next one, you can see here that Abel is receiving $100 yet again, which is nice. And there's also a number of transactions. All of the transactions are from Abel, because at this point, Abel is the only person on the network that has any funds. And so you can see there that Abel is transferring $10 to Sophia, $20 to Lucas, and so on. So we can track the provenance in this case, and we can make sure that those funds exist, and we can ensure that they have not been tampered with through the hashing mechanism. Now we can go all the way to the end here, and we can do the same. If we took a look, say, at Jackson, that is making a transaction and transferring $2 and sending them to Alexander, we can take a look at the block before, and we can look for Jackson, and we can see if Jackson has received some funds. If this transaction wasn't on this block, we could track it back until we found them, or perhaps not, and understand that Jackson doesn't have, in that case, the funds. In this case, we can see here that he did receive from Sophia $8, so we know that he has at least $8, so he can, in fact, spend the $2 that we see there. Just as before, it has all of the properties, the resistance to change, the immutability. And so this is a full example, now including financial transactions, and also being able to track the provenance with the properties of blockchain that we had already discussed.